Jalen Wagner. When you think of our children today, do you imagine beet fields filled with tiny hands grasping weeds and planting seeds? My grandfather was only 10 years old when he and his brothers would gather up in their assigned beet fields and start working. It wasn't long before the beating sun would burn their skin and the weeds would stain their hands. Their sweaty backs and tough hands proved that for one to survive, he or she must work hard. My grandpa was not just a major role model in my life. He was the backbone of everything I know and value. In this speech, I'm going to talk about how hardworking, reliable, and strong my grandfather is. My grandfather taught us that if we learned to work purposefully, our lives would be fulfilled. Merriam-Webster defines hardworking as constantly, regularly, or habitually engaged in earned and energetic work, someone who is industrious and diligent. Being capable of working in the beet fields so diligently is not something many would choose to do. My grandfather knew it had to be done to survive. It was this tedious, tiring work that shaped my grandfather into the hardworking man that he is. There is never a moment where my grandfather is not giving his all. He instilled this in all of his children and grandchildren, especially the importance of working for what you need and want in life. Now that I've shown you how hardworking my grandfather is, I must show you how reliable he has been my whole life. It was important to my grandfather that he set an example when it came to being reliable. Being reliable means others can continuously depend on you for important things in their life. It is without doubt one of the most telling things in a person. When I was 12, I decided to have a sleepover with my friends. We danced, played, and ate pizza, and did everything you could think of in a girl's sleepover. For some strange reason, I got extremely ill. I woke up 3 times with extreme nausea, and I couldn't even see straight. I wanted to call my mom, but she was out of town. So instead, I called my grandpa. My grandfather came faster than the flash, gathered my things, and quickly took me home, where he carried me inside, laid me in bed, and took care of me for the rest of the night. When there was no one else there, he was. My grandfather's willingness and readiness to always be by our side in times of need proved to me the love he has for our family. In addition to his reliability, let's look at how my grandfather is the strong support beam in my family. My grandpa is and will always be my rock and support beam when it comes to the difficult challenges of life. Out of several different definitions, Merriam-Webster's definition stuck out as the truest of my grandfather: to endure bravely and quietly. This is my grandfather. Even in his own struggles, my grandfather endures bravely and quietly so he may be our rock and strength. When I was 13, my grandmother passed away. My siblings, cousins, and I were closer to my grandmother than my grandfather, and this was a very hard time for us. My grandfather did everything in his power to make the situation easier for us. He was my rock during such a hard time, and my reminder that I never have to go through grief alone. In conclusion, it is with pride and honor that I speak of my hardworking, reliable, and supportive grandfather. My grandfather was not just a major role model in my life. He was the backbone of everything I know and value. I go through life with my grandfather's values in mind. His actions remind me on a daily that there are things I can do to become a better person, to show others love and care, and how to get through difficult situations with my head held high. I encourage everyone who is listening to this speech to look at the people in their lives. Who has carried you through every struggle and has made an impact on your life? Tell them thank you, even if you don't tell them why, because without these individuals in our lives, we would not be the people we are today.